Welcome to Clip, where we comprehend, learn, integrate, and practice. Welcome back. We're looking at lesson 3, assignment statements. Now, when it comes to assignment statements, they're broken down into two parts. That's going to be your storage location, your L value, and your R value, your expression. Now, your R value can contain an expression, a mathematical expression. It can be values, or it can be characters. Let's get into it. So right now you can see that I have already created my program and I have given the program name as assignment statements. I'm also accessing the Pascal library for the CRT functions, and now I'm going to put in some variables. So I'm going to illustrate the different assignment statements using integer, real, and string, and even character. So let's start off with some integers. So I'm going to call this num1, num2. So it's going to be our integers right there. And I'm going to put in some real numbers, num3, num4. It's going to be real. I'm also going to include some strings. So let me just put first name and last name. And let's put in some letters. So let's call this A and B and give them the data type char. Now usually I would include user input, but for the time being I'm just going to assign a particular value or text in each specific variable here. Alright, so you can see the illustration. So right between beginning our body, I'm going to put numbers in for num1. So I'm going to put a value for num1 as 10, num2, I'm going to put a value of 20, num3, I'm going to put a value of 2.4, first name, I'm going to put in, let's say, Mary. Forgot that. Let's for last name. I'm going to put in, let's say, Doe. For A, the first letter, I'm just going to put in X, that's in quotes. And for B, I'm just going to put in Y. And there we go. So these variables have been assigned to these values, and text are being assigned to these specific variables. So let me just print those so you can see. Alright, so you can see. So let's start off with right line, and we're going to put in first number, it's going to be num1. Let me just copy this. So that's going to be my second number. Change this to num2. Third number, num3, and remember that this is going to be in decimal form. 4 also included. So this is our fourth number. Alright, let me just put a right line to separate. Next we have first name, last name. Alright, first name, that's going to be F name. Copy this line of code. It's going to be last name. And put our right line here. And we just have A and B. Alright, so right line. And that's going to be X. No, that's A, sorry. That's A. And copy this. I should say first letter. First letter. Second letter. Like that. And let's put in a rekey. Alright, let's compile. Oh, I have an error. Okay. So it's found with line 15. The error stating that it's at line 15. Line 14, I forgot the semicolon. Let's compile again. Okay. Num4, I haven't done num4. That's another one I forgot. So let's say 3.5. Compile it again. Successful. Alright, click OK. Let's execute. So let's just go back and make some modifications. So I'm going to go back into my line of code and make sure I put the decimal places for num3 and num4. So I'm going to say colon 0 colon 1 for one decimal place. Same thing for num4. I'm also going to set it for one decimal place. Okay, there's no errors. Going to execute. All right, let's do a zoom in. You can all see. All right. So let's just focus on user input. So I'm going to give the user the ability to enter their own data. So let me just comment this. So I don't have to use it or compile it in the program. Alright, so I'm just going to prompt the user to enter the different variables here. So let's focus on a prompt. So I'm going to ask the user to enter 4 numbers like that. And then we're going to say read line num1, comma num2, comma num3, comma num4. No, we can't do it that way because I remember that we already have num3 and num4 as real numbers. So what we should say is that for the first two, enter 2 whole numbers, and that will focus on num1, num2. Let's scroll down. Next one is going to say enter 2 decimal numbers, and that's going to be num3 and num4. Then we're going to focus on entering the first name and last name. L name, F name. Alright, and the last is going to be enter two letters. And that's going to be the variables A and B, like that. Afterwards, I want to have a clear screen because we want to show the data. We don't want everything to be in one command prompt. We want to see it on a different screen. So let's us run the code right now. So this was the original code where we assigned the different variables a specific value or text. So let's compile. Have no errors. Okay. So let me just zoom. Alright. So originally I had read line F name, comma L name. Now in order for this to work, I have to separate the two variables since both are strings. Because if I don't, then it's going to consider the two names that I entered as the first name. So I have to separate them. Same thing will have to be applied for the two letters. I need to separate them as well. So only read A and only read B. Alright, so now the code should work. Alright, and I also made a modification, just have this there. But let's put it back to how it was. So let's say right line. And don't forget the semicolon. Okay, so let's compile this again. Execute. As you can see, the code works. So I will see you in the next lesson.